James, in the south of UK, you're located, if I'm correct. He's a constructor, but also farms himself already for several years, experimenting with reduced tillage.
Good
James,
afternoon,
welcome.
everybody. Hello, thank you very much. I was lucky to meet Frederick at our groundswell event in 2019, where we discussed
Okay.
strip tillage and nutrition with a mutual friend of ours. So it's great to be here today. I don't know if you wanted me to just do my short presentation just to sort of give us a bit of background. Is that okay, or I have some
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, maybe,
Okay.
yeah. But first, start with the presentation would be nice.
Yeah.
Do you know how it works? You haven't tested it, of
Almost
course, but
ready.
okay.
Is that okay?
It is in presentation mode, though. We have a bit of a presentation mode version, but it's so we see the slide and the presentation mode we see. Don't know if you
Okay.
can
Is
share
that all
your
right?
other screen.
What do I do now? Sorry.
Maybe if you could go, have you touched press now to share your screen or share a program? Because now we see your presentation mode, so we see the slide plus the slide which comes next.
Ah, right. Okay.
So if
I'll try
maybe
again in a
try
minute.
again and try
Yeah.
another way to share, because there's different options. We also had to hassle with Frederik in the beginning, so you know the first.
This one.
Don't know why today it's always a
That one.
challenge with techniques.
That better?
Yeah, indeed, it's
Lovely.
solved.
Thank you. Yes, our farm business is based in Devon in the UK, the southwest of England. We have a beautiful landscape that we're very proud of. But our main restriction in terms of tillage is our steep slopes on our hillsides, and that's very prone to erosion with heavy rainfall. So we have a mixed farming system here in Devon, and we have been direct drilling since 2007 to try and protect our soil, and that was our main aim, was to reduce erosion. Frederick put a photo up of his soil profile, and here is ours. It is known locally as the Devon Red soil type, which is linked to the red colour in our soil, with a clay subsoil which isn't free draining. So it's quite a delicate soil, quite a light soil, which we're lucky to have, quite easy working, but it does have its limitations. But before we talk about direct drilling, um, livestock has been a big part of our farming systems here locally for generations, really, and it's getting that livestock to play a role in soil health, which is a new terminology. But I think older farmers would realize or recognize the importance of livestock on the land to feed the microbes, to build fertility, and yeah, make use of cover crops, or they're locally known as sheep keep. Um, so that's what we're aiming to do, is feed the soil both in arable and grassland systems. We've recently tried grazing crops of wheat and oilseed rape to good effect, and that is again looking at regenerating the system and reducing pesticides. I quite like this table. It's from a South African soil scientist. Sorry, I can't name. I'll have to find that. But it's a really good look at how we can exploit or use the nutrient pool in our soils if we really enhance soil biology, and try and do that through all sorts of methods: cover cropping, livestock on the land, diverse cropping. And I really like that quote at the bottom, and Frederick mentioned something similar: soil is not short of nutrients, they are short of microbial life. So we started in 2007, and yes, the main aim was to try and reduce our soil erosion, as I saw that was a major impact on our farming systems. And we've learned a great deal over this time. We did make errors and mistakes at the beginning where we didn't quite adjust to the system, and it's really important, I feel, to research the equipment and the system you're trying to use, but don't give up too early. Really give it chance, give different weather patterns to impact your business over 2 or 3 or 4 years, and let that play into the system, and then you'll learn so much more from that. I hope this isn't a picture of recreational tillage, but we find it a very useful go-to when necessary, just to move the top inch or so of soil, whether to establish a cover crop, which we're going to do now with this machine, or just move the residue on the soil to reduce slugs. And that's something we've learnt over the years, how to manage that problem, especially in brassica crops. Um, and yeah, it's just a very light and cheap, effective method just to get everything moving, or just to improve the population of your main crop of wheat, for example. We've had major successes now. We've learned the system, and it's really, it's just very a good, fun way of farming. Um, for example, here, this is a crop of oilseed rape grown between the rows of spring barley without glyphosate, but that's by the by, really. We didn't spray glyphosate on the stubble. We planted the oilseed rape between the rows of harvested spring barley. Um, we don't grow oilseed rape that far in the rotation. It's one in 4 or 5 years, and this crop did 5 tons a hectare, which was, just a very pleasing result. So yes, it has got its financial benefits. No tillage, or direct drilling, as we call it. Um, if we can control our fixed costs, and that's a major impact. Building soil structure, carrying machinery. We seem to have big weather patterns of 4 to 6 weeks, or either very dry weather or very, very wet weather, and we're trying to build that resourcefulness into our soils so the weather doesn't impact them too much. Another success we've learnt is to get around the potential slug problem, is drilling on the green, so planting winter wheat into a very big crop of volunteer oilseed rape, or that could be a cover crop after the oilseed rape. And we found the slugs, if they are present, they're eating the cover crop or the oilseed rape stand, while the wheat gets established, leaving the little seedlings of wheat alone, so it gets a very strong stand of wheat. One of my sort of pet topics or aims is to be looking at maize and how we can reduce the impact of our soil, and make better crops of maize in this system. We would get the soil sort of nice and level and a very good structure, and then more often than not, if maize was chosen as the crop in the rotation, we'd have to plough again and power harrow, and you'd lose the benefits you've built up over the year. So these are my own photos of our contract work on planting maize for customers, and as you can see, we've lost the moisture there. And we're just using a power harrow to get sort of a fake seed bed. It's not in my mind, a true seed bed. It's just unfortunately lumps of soil. And this is the impact. This May, after planting, we had 200 mil of rain in a month, and the soil slumped and washed on at establishment. So in these times, I don't see it as really forward thinking enough to be planting maize in this manner. We're losing nutrients. It's a high cost, high input system when we potentially should be looking at other options. Because maize can be a fantastic crop for the soil. We're pumping lots of energy into the soil, feeding the microbes, building structure, putting energy in the soil, and that energy is there for the following crop. So it can be a cracking crop if we can get establishment right. So for the last 6 years, I've been trying to work with companies to design a strip till cultivator. And 2 years ago, we worked with Grange machinery, who are in Yorkshire, that put our ideas into steel, and designed something for us. And we've learned that other examples of reducing cost have been placing fertilizer, placing fertility in that root zone, just where it's needed. Less passive machinery, less fertilizer, because it's very efficient and it's being placed where the crop wants it. And we've been very pleased with the first crops we've taken. And following on from Frederick's thoughts and talk about cover crops, and I absolutely fundamentally think cover crops can be of benefit before crops of maize in our spring, when your soil is empty for over 6 months of the year, between a barley or a wheat harvest, and then all the way through till April or May. The cover crop could be protecting the soil, building soil microbes, enhancing structure, fixing nitrogen. In this case, we trialed fixing nitrogen with winter beans and a winter oat cover crop, and that crop fixed 30 kilos of nitrogen. So that's where fertilizer prices are now, that's a massive benefit, and that paid for the establishment, paid for the seed cost, plus another margin on top. And we condition the soil, making strip tillage easier come the spring. So we're not looking at shortcutting the system at all. We're trying to optimize plant establishment and optimize the maize crop by not losing moisture, placing fertility, and just a lovely friable soil structure. We strip tilled here May the 10th. The next day, we had hail and rain, and we thought, well, this wasn't forecast, and we finally got back to the field, and on the 29th of May, after 180, 200 mils of rain, hit our area, but we just drilled straight into the strips with our precision drill, and that was the take. So we placed 50 kilos of nitrogen with the strip till plus sulfur, and then we went back with DAP with the planter that put in more nitrogen and phosphate. We've also trialed another fertilizer called polysulfate, which places extra magnesium and calcium and potassium in the strip, with very pleasing results. So harvest was October the 21st, and the harvest machinery traveled over the land without rutting it or marking it, which meant the following wheat crop could be established in good order, and with the direct drill, and even a no-till drill we used to put some wheat in after maize, which is unheard of, really. So we're very confident the rain infiltration is increased by strip tillage maize. So thank you very much. That was a little short intro to me and our farming here in Devon.